Hello, brothers and sisters, and my friends. Welcome to Pathways of Hope. My name is Avi Leong, and I'll be sharing some reflections on the gospel today. I'll just read it because it's very short. This is from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 19, verses 13 to 15. Then children were brought to him that he might lay his hands on them and pray. The disciples rebuked the people, but Jesus said, "Let the children come to me, and do not hinder them, for to such belongs the kingdom of heaven." And he laid his hands on them and went away. So what's the context here? Jesus was, um, Jesus just transferred from one area where he preached now to the region of Judea, and a large crowd followed him. So this gospel today follows a discussion that he had with Pharisees who asked about divorce. So it's interesting to take note that this portion, this short portion of children, sort of flows from a discussion about divorce and marriage. So I think this particular part talks about family life or marriage and children. Two things I want to highlight is, first of all, um, Jesus values children. Uh, the modern mindset today, like modern society, a lot of thought about child raising or the idea of bearing children is that it's a liability. It's just a hard thing. And even amongst fellow Christian couples, fellow Christian friends, when a discussion arises, there's a subtle hint of raising children is it's a practical challenge. It's a chore. Um, an unsaid thing is it's really a hassle that people have to deal with. And even though it might be a realistic point of view, it seems to be incomplete. In the eyes of Christ, children are a gift. They are of great value. Bringing children, therefore, into this world is a gift. And children, even as children, have a place in the kingdom of the Lord. Secondly, if you try to imagine this whole passage, uh, I can imagine like a group of adults coming together. Jesus was having this, he was explaining to Pharisee religious leaders about what's God's view on divorce and marriage, and it's very serious. Then suddenly there are some parents and groups of people who are coming, bringing children of different ages and sizes to the front, and if you've been to church or a community gathering with little children, with families, young couples with little children, you know it can be distracting and sometimes even disruptive. You know, when children just shout or they play or they just get very physical on the stage. I remember when I was a kid, like very young, my mom told me that whenever she would dread coming to church because she just wouldn't know what I would do. We're Catholics, and there are times where I would just run to the front and push over the front pew, or I'll just run to where the priests are and kind of chase whatever cat or dog is near the altar. It's so unpredictable. So I imagine the disciples probably thought the same thing. Like, okay, why are you bringing kids here? It's so chaotic. We're trying to have an adult discussion here. We're trying to make the most out of Jesus who is here. We're trying to manage the crowds. We have no space for chaotic, disrupting, unpredictable children here. Like, just put them to the side. And I want to highlight what Jesus says here. He says, "No, let the children come to me. Don't hinder them. Don't keep them from coming to me." And I think that's something very important for us to take note of, especially those of us who might be relating with children a lot. Whether you're a parent or you have a young sibling or cousin who you interact with every day, or maybe you're a teacher of preschool, grade school students dealing with children, the tendency is to really um, see them as okay. I'll just try to get through this interaction alive. I'll try to keep my sane, but at the back of our heads, there might be a temptation not to take them seriously. Uh, their needs when they come up to us. I remember one time I came from um, I'm a I'm a cook. I'm a business owner, food business owner. So all day, almost every day, is physical labor to me. And I remember one particular day where my younger, really young cousin was at home. After the end of a really long day, she sits down beside me and asks, "Do you think my mother who passed away went to heaven? Do you think that God forgave her sins?" And I was just so dead and tired, and I was like thinking, oh my gosh, should I answer this? I'm so tired. But there was grace at that moment to actually have a discussion with her, and she appreciated that. And we even ended that time, I got to end that time praying over her, and I thought it was very significant. I also remember a time where my mom, who's retired but busy, was just trying to get by a busy morning, and another younger cousin living with us was just scrambling around the house looking for something to do, and my mom invited her to sit down and pray with her. And ever since then, my younger cousin, whenever she's here, she knows, she tries, but she knows how to start praying. So there's impact. There's something we can take away from what Jesus is saying here, that even children, we can take them seriously because Jesus takes them seriously. He says, "Bring them to me, and don't stand in the way of them coming to me." I think sometimes the way we can stand in front, in between Jesus and children, is we can be too impatient and unloving in the way we interact, or we don't take their questions seriously, or we take it seriously, but we're just not that generous with our time to answer their questions when those questions and answers could lead to understanding and appreciating more of who Jesus is, even at their age. So, my brothers and sisters, short passage, but I think I gave a longer reflection. It's pretty personal to me, but I hope you got something from here, and I hope it translates to just being able to love the younger boys and girls that you might be interacting with, um, more and more the same way Christ would relate with them or love them. I hope you were blessed by this reflection, and again, this is Pathways of Hope. Feel free to like and share with your friends. I hope you have a good day ahead.